want to thank everyone for joining us. This is, I think, our 6th coffee and conversation that we've been doing. So thank you so much to Mr. Canavan and Sheriff McDermott for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. And, especially now with what's happening in the world, the information that you have always provided to our seniors about scams and things that they need to be wary of is, of course, incredibly helpful. And we're so grateful to have a channel to get that information to them. So we'll ask everyone to mute themselves and we'll give you the floor for a bit. And then we'll see if they have questions.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kerry, and thank you everybody for joining us. So unfortunately, the scam artists have not let up. Even during COVID-19, when we're all trying to be the best good neighbors we can be, these scam artists are still out there, and there's some as far away as Nigeria. There was one scam that was just broken up by our federal agents where people from as far away as Nigeria were pretending to be people that were unemployed in New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts, and trying to take your identity and apply for unemployment benefits. So that's a real big headache for people. I can tell you that up here at the House of Correction in Dedham, because of our operational needs slowing down, we saw a lot of people staying at home that were non-essential. And when we had to shut down civil process and some of the other facets of our operation just ceased because of COVID-19, we had to make the tough decision to furlough close to 71 people. And they are all trying to apply for unemployment, and they're being told somebody else has tried to log in under their identity and claim benefits. So it's not just our seniors that are falling victims to the scam artists. They're hitting everybody right now. But the one that I think most seniors, Kerry, you've done a great job with on the Council on Aging with Walpole in alerting our seniors, but this one is so timely. There were some stimulus checks from the government. The federal government passed a package, and people were being told by scam artists on the phone and through email, I can expedite the payment, or you're due an additional check. And they would try to get the information for your Social Security number. They would try to get you to give up your bank routing number, your checking account, all with the lie that they had money that they were pretending to be from the federal government, and they were going to send you a stimulus check or help you expedite receiving a stimulus check. So sadly, people have fallen for this scam all across the country. But the good news is most of our federal agents working with state investigators as well as local right here in Norfolk County with the Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney, we're on top of it. We know the scam artists are out there. They never let up. But I think it's our job to let our seniors know that they should be very, very careful who's calling them, what emails they're responding to. And it's very easy, Kerry, as you know, some of these people are so sophisticated that when you get an email, it looks so legitimate, you're tempted to click on and give up your personal information. I mentioned at the beginning of our chat that I have 2 teenage daughters, and one of them, the younger one, has dad's credit card information. So it's always a constant tug of war when she goes to buy things. But I'll see these emails that come in and say, the email will be addressed to me and say, thank you for your most recent purchase. Click on this to verify, looks like Apple or Amazon or something that my daughter's used in the past. And when you click on that link, it wants you to verify your payment information. And what they're really after is they're fishing for you to give up that really personal information, your credit card number or your date of birth, your Social Security. So I guess my message again to the seniors in Walpole and all across the county is guard your personal information, keep it close to your vest. Do not give out your Social Security number, even if they are on the phone and they're charming you or they're pressuring you and they say, oh, we just need the last 4 of your Social Security. Don't give it out. Don't give it out. Don't trust these people. There's a lot in the news lately about these scam artists. And I believe it was either local Boston 25 or Channel 5 just did a segment on the unemployment insurance scam. So it's so widespread, and all we can do is continue to do our best to get that information out to people and share that warning. So that's what I want to talk about on the scams. And Kerry, also just on the program end of things, I know that you know about some of our great programs here at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. One of them, the Are You OK program, is a life-saving program, and it's peace of mind. And actually, Joe's holding up the flyer, and it is phenomenal. And I'll have Joe through the Zoom chat send me the number so I get it right. I know it's like 1-866-900 Are You OK? And Joe can correct me if I'm wrong, but this program works like this. A senior citizen signs up to have a phone call between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. every day. They have a backup person. That person could be a neighbor, a friend, a grandson or daughter, and we will call you at the allotted time. Let's say it's 8:30 in the morning every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is what you choose. If we call you and you don't pick up at 8:30, we'll give you a second, just in case you were out front picking up the newspaper or you were indisposed and you didn't hear the phone. We'll call you again. If you don't pick up, we're going to call your backup person and ask them, are you okay? Why hasn't your grandmom or your granddad answered the phone? And if they tell us, oh, you know, they had a dentist appointment or they got an early hair appointment or something they were going to, that's fine. No harm, no foul. But if they tell us, no, my granddad or my grandmom should absolutely be there, then we're going to call that home phone again. If you don't answer, we're going to have first responders go to the house. So in the 17 months that I've been sheriff, we've had 11 saves. These are people who have fallen down, broken hips, broken wrists. One woman had a life alert, but the way she fell, one hand was like trapped under her body, the other wrist was broken. She couldn't get to the phone to answer it, and she couldn't press her life alert. The one that really struck a chord with me was a woman who got into the bathtub for her evening bath. She hadn't eaten, so she felt faint. She didn't have the upper body strength to lift herself up out of the tub. She was in the tub for close to 11 hours. And the next morning when we called, she didn't answer. We called her backup person. They said, no, she should be there. We also ask as a participant in the Are You OK that you just let us know where there's a key somewhere. This particular person didn't have the key where they said they would. So we had to have the police go in through her bathroom window and save her. But that's 11 saves in 17 months. It's a free program. The Are You OK program's free. And it's not just peace of mind for the seniors, it's peace of mind for everyone who loves them, right? Because especially now with COVID-19, this darn virus, we're all feeling like so isolated at home. But for our senior citizens, you know, the kids, the grandkids can't come and check on them in person because they don't want to get them sick. They're really feeling a bit trapped at home. And this Are You OK program is just a lifeline. And if they want, if seniors elect to be called every day, we'll call you every day. And it's staffed by Norfolk County Sheriff's Office employees. Usually it's Cheryl Bambury. And if she's not there, it's our partners at Fallon Ambulance Service. So again, the Are You OK program, if you want to sign up and share with your seniors, it's 1-866-900-7865. The last four numbers, 7865, are the letters Are You OK? So again, free program, a partnership with Fallon Ambulance and the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. I'd encourage everybody to sign up for this program, and it's that one added layer of safety. It helps people live longer at home independently and know that, you know what, I am okay in my own house. I don't have to go to a nursing home. I don't have to go to an assisted living facility. I have my independence, and at least once a day, there's going to be a phone call to me to make sure that I'm doing okay. Now, if you're not okay, and we're going to have, you know, medical personnel, you know, police, fire, EMS, whoever it is, show up to help you, there's another great program that ties in nicely with the Are You OK program, and that's called our Files for Life. And it's a neat little red folder that has a magnetic strip. There's Joe got it right there. It has two pieces to it. One is the part that stays on your body. The other, the one Joe's holding up now, that File for Life has a magnetic strip, and first responders are trained to look on your refrigerator for that file of life. Now in there is your name, your address, all your pertinent medical information that a first responder would need to know, such as your blood type. You know, maybe you have a rare blood type. Maybe you have allergies, or you've had a recent surgery. It'll tell them everything, including medications you're on and the dosage that you need. It'll have your primary care physician, any specialist doctors that you want to put on there, and then of course, any family that you would want notified. So you fill that out. You keep one set on your body, in your pocket or pocketbook. The other goes in the file for life with a magnet on the refrigerator. So now, God forbid, there's a slip and fall at home. You're rendered unconscious. EMS shows up. They come into the house. You're on the kitchen floor. You can't speak. They go to the refrigerator. They see what's there, and they know the appropriate medical care to give to you based on things you may be allergic to, medicines that you are on. You know, maybe it's diabetic or high blood pressure, what have you. But it's such a lifesaver. And again, a free program. So we encourage folks to sign up for the Are You OK? Make sure they have the files for life with them. And then if you're driving, a lot of our seniors, I know people who are driving well into their 90s. And they, you know, my brother Jim's mother-in-law is 86, and she tools around town like a teenager at 86 years old. There's no stopping her. There's a great program, and that's called the Yellow Dot. And Joe's got a great display of it right there. The Yellow Dot program, it's a nationally recognized program. And again, first responders are trained to look at the rear driver's side windshield, and they'll see that yellow dot, which alerts them that in the glove compartment is all that pertinent medical information. Again, your doctor, the medicines you're on, allergies, next of kin, and it has your photo. And why is that important? Maybe the automobile you're traveling in, you're not driving at this time. Maybe you're a passenger. Somebody else is driving. If there's a car crash or a medical emergency, and again, you can't speak for yourself, the first responders know because they see the yellow dot on the back driver's side to go to the glove box, pull out that information, and give you the appropriate medical care. So again, Kerry, great programs. They're all free. Brought to you by the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. I have to give kudos to Joe Canavan. Joe has been out across the 28 communities year after year after year, trying hard, working with great people like you at the Council on Aging to say, sign up for these things. It could save your life. And I can tell you that in 17 months, I've seen 11 saves. So it really does work, and it's peace of mind. And again, it's free. It's all free. So hopefully some seniors in Walpole see the show. They'll take advantage of these programs. They can call us at the 1-866-900-7865 for any of these programs, and we'll get them signed up. So that's it, Kerry. I'll kick it over to you and our audience in case you have any questions.
Thanks so much. We have lots of those filed lives available. Thanks to Joe. We actually promote that a great deal here and encourage anyone on this call or watching this back on cable to be in touch. We'd be happy to mail one out to them at this time so that they have one available in case they needed it. Great ideas. You know, we wanted to also check in, you know, what's different now about how you're operating during the pandemic versus before?
Oh, sure. Kerry, I could
We've all
write a
had
book.
to adapt.
I could write a book about how our lives and our worlds have changed. Like everyone's world has changed, but there was no playbook for this. You know, I came in about 17 months ago and started off with probably the biggest worry was the red ink that I inherited. And it's really almost all sheriffs, and there's 14 county sheriffs, have a structural deficit. And year after year, they have to go to Beacon Hill and ask for supplemental budgets. So I thought the biggest problem I'd face was the red ink, right? And how to make the budget work. And then along comes COVID-19. And we immediately took action. And I thank God every day we did. We were probably a little bit ahead of the curve. And I credit that on just being born with a worry gene. I worry, I can see trouble coming around the corner. So I was a little bit quick to say, I think this thing coming out of Wuhan, China could be highly contagious. We better do something up here because we have a population living in such close proximity to each other that if the virus got in, I feared it could spread like wildfire. So my superintendent, the head of my medical unit, and my assistant superintendents, we all huddled. And I said, what precautions can we add to try to keep this virus, this invisible enemy, out of the house of correction and jail? And the best thing we could do is cleaning, sanitizing, educating the inmates about good, proper hygiene, and making sure that we're regularly cleaning. And I thank God for months before this COVID-19 came out, we had ordered some sanitizing guns. And these guns have a fine mist. Many of you are probably familiar with Alka-Seltzer tablets. You drop them in water and they fizz. So imagine like a chlorine bleach type of a pellet or a tablet that you add to water. And then you have these misting guns, and it's clinging to the surfaces and it's sanitizing it. It's killing any viruses on tabletops, doorknobs, you name it. So we kind of got ahead of it. I do credit the team here at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. It was truly a team effort. We were cleaning like zealots. We were probably pretty quick ahead of some other sheriffs to cancel any visits. First, we said no contact visits for the inmates. Then we said no visits at all. Then we said any non-essential employees stay home. We don't want a lot of foot traffic in and out of the facility, just those essential workers, so that we could carry on our core mission of running a safe and secure house of correction. Obviously, food vendors, medical vendors, we limited the amount of trucks that were allowed to bring us supplies. But we always made sure for the inmates in our care and custody, and of course for the staff, that we had enough toiletries and that we had enough food. So we took a lot of measures fairly early on, a little bit ahead of the curve, and I credit that to the very small number of cases, positives that we've had up here. You know, at one point we had a population of, let's say, 320. We're down around, say, 310 today. But we've only had maybe 3 cases for employees and about 7 or 8 for inmates. And again, thank goodness that all of those cases have been mild. Nobody has been seriously sick or hospitalized, and everybody's bounced back nicely. As a matter of fact, most of them who have been infected say it's like a bad cold. You know, some body aches, muscle aches, just kind of overall feel lousy for a few days. But again, thank goodness everybody's bounced back. But COVID-19 has definitely changed our way of looking at things. So going forward, I've huddled that team and I've branded them a new name of the Infectious Disease Response Team. We brought in Dr. Wursell, who's advising us, and we're going to deal with all pathogens. It's going to be basically a pathogen response team. And whether it's a second round of COVID-19 that could spring up in October, or if it's some other pandemic that we haven't even thought of yet. You know, we've seen H1N1, swine flu, Ebola virus, now COVID-19. We don't know what's on the horizon, and we can only manage for tomorrow, but we're doing a really good job. I have to give credit to my staff, my team here. They're doing a great job. And even the inmates at first were very, very anxious. As you can imagine, they're talking to their loved ones, and they're hearing about toilet paper shortages, and they're hearing about people getting sick and going to emergency rooms and being put on ventilators. So you had an inmate population that was getting very agitated and ramped up, which is a concern. And in corrections, we call that the climate. We want to know how the climate is doing. So we did a good job going down to each housing unit, talking with the inmates, educating the inmates. I personally bought them all a full bar of Dial antibacterial soap. And we talked to them as if you were educating your own kids about the proper way to wash your hands. And we just explained to them the best thing they could do, keep their cells clean, practice good hygiene, and actually participate with our officers in cleaning and sanitizing the facility. And they did it. We got 100% buy-in. They appreciated that we were looking out for them. They understood that on the inside, they had better access to toiletries and ample supply of food, and they really didn't have to worry. Whereas I told them firsthand, you know, I go shopping at the supermarket, whether it's the Big Y in Walpole or Wegmans or Roach Brothers, Stop and Shop Shaw's, and I'm scouring the aisles for paper towels and toilet paper. And they got a big kick out of that. They thought that was pretty funny. I said, you guys are not in the worst place. Believe me, this is This is a global pandemic, and at least in here, you're going to be well looked after. You have medical staff, you have mental health staff, you've got food, you've got toiletries, and we're working around the clock to keep you safe and keep the virus out of our facility. So it has definitely changed the way we look at things. And again, Kerry, probably the biggest change is this new group that's going to look at pathogens. I call them the Infectious Disease Response Team. What we want to do is be ready in case there's a second wave of COVID-19 or another outbreak of some other virus, but we also want to be a resource. How can we help Norfolk County? How can we help the town of Walpole? What we'd like to do in the future is get somebody from the Board of Health in Walpole and all the other communities in Norfolk County and have that one point person from the Board of Health in all 28 communities participate with our infectious disease response team and Dr. Wursell, who's an epidemiologist, and look at what can we do if another pathogen is infecting us. How can we help with Council on Aging? We went out and sanitized a lot of councils on aging. We sanitized police stations, their fleet of vehicles, their holding cells. We sanitized all the district courts, the district attorney's office. We did some town halls because for the elections coming up, the town clerks were asking us to go in and do the town hall so they could go in and count the nomination papers. So we wanted to be a resource, take the best information we can gather about infectious disease and make sure that's getting out to Norfolk County, so that from the public health perspective and a public safety perspective, we're that much more ahead of the virus or viruses that are coming at us. Because the last thing we want to see is the loss of life that we've seen in Massachusetts. A lot of people are getting sick and tired of wearing masks and staying at home, but there's about 6,500 deaths. That's 6,500 of our neighbors who died from a virus. That's pretty scary. And I think those numbers would have been a lot higher had we not all collectively done our job. And I credit people for staying home. It's not easy. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners and people who go to the Council on Aging Walpole, they're sociable creatures. They want to go have fun. They wanted to get together for St. Patrick's Day. They want to get together for kids' graduations and, all the great things that happen around at this time of year. So many proms, they didn't get to see grandkids in their prom dresses and stuff. It's hard. I know it's hard. But this sacrifice that we all made saved a lot of lives. So Massachusetts is still mourning the 6,500 or so lives that are lost, but that number could have been easily 10 times higher, easily. So again, I think we all did a good job responding, and I certainly don't envy Governor Charlie Baker. He's had a tough job. He's got critics on every side, whatever he does, a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks. But again, from the president to the governor, everybody has said, this is uncharted territory. Nobody had a playbook, and nobody saw this virus coming out of Wuhan, China. And I hope collectively the country has learned its lesson, and we start to be a little bit more skeptical about research facilities and making sure that there's better safeguard measures on them. And I think eventually our intelligence community will tell us where this virus emanated from exactly. But that's not as important right now. What's important is that the bright minds in the scientific and medical communities come up with a vaccine. And I think the good news is a lot of companies are very, very close. They're in phase 2, phase 3 of clinical trials. And hopefully by September, October, we will have a vaccine for the COVID-19 virus. That's our hope.
Thanks so much. Any questions for the sheriff?
Jerry, if you don't mind my calling you Jerry, or should
Sure.
I?
Jerry, you can call me Jerry anytime.
My question is, in the very beginning, you were talking about scam audits. And so my question is, why do people want to pretend that they're somebody else when they're not?
It's very hard to wrap your head around because you're a good, decent human being. And like everybody on this call, we think of how we can help our friends and neighbors, right? So when COVID-19 came out, people were delivering food. My staff, including Joe Canavan and others, helped Meals on Wheels deliver food. to our veterans, to our elderly. Other people donated blood to the Red Cross. So we're thinking, hey, how can we help people in our community? But unfortunately, Jerry, the scam artists, they don't think the way we think. And whether it's COVID-19 crisis or after the Boston Marathon bombing, they are thinking, how can I set up a fraudulent scheme to get at people's wallets and pocketbooks? And it's heartbreaking because, for example, after the Boston Marathon bombing, people wanted to help first responders, police, fire, all the runners and their families that were impacted. And there was a fund, a legitimate fund that was set up. And the scam artists swoop in, pretend that they're calling from that legitimate 501c3 nonprofit, and they would duping people out of money. Just like now, Jerry, with the COVID-19 virus, the governor and his wife, Lauren Baker, have set up this great fund, a relief fund. But there are people trying to scam, innocent, unsuspecting victims. And also with the stimulus checks that came from the federal government, there were people calling, trying to get at your social security number, your bank routing number, your checking account, to tell you and lie and say, oh, we can help you expedite your stimulus payment. The government wants to send you that check or an additional check. And people are like, oh yeah, I saw that on the news that the House and Senate passed it and the president said, yeah, I'm going to get some of that stimulus money. And people unwittingly give out personal financial information, and it's wrong. And like you, I shake my head like, how do these people look at themselves in the mirror? How do they lay their head on the pillow at night in good conscience, and they're stealing money? And again, whether it's COVID-19 virus or not, these people operate 365 days a year, but they really crop up around times like this. We're used to seeing them around tax time, right? Just before April 15 tax filing season, they'll pretend they're the IRS and they'll call. And what Joe Canavan and I are always telling our seniors at the Council on Aging, the IRS will send you a nasty love letter. They won't call you. They will send you a letter, but they will not call you. So you just have to be alert, Jerry. You just have to keep your guard up and really protect your financial information.
So if I go to that website, Are You Okay? It's going to give me all the information about those two different things, one for the refrigerator and one for that, right?
Yes, it's easiest to call. So it's 1-866-900-7865.
Okay, great.
And that's 1-866-900-7865. And that's the Are You Okay program. So again, that's a great program. And, I was talking to my mom about it, and she's 93. And I said, isn't this a great program? You call between 6 in the morning and 10 for all the early risers. And she said, yeah, whatever you do, don't call in the evening around Wheel of Fortune, because I'd hang up on you.
She would.
Yeah. 7 o'clock is not the time to call my mom. If Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy's on, she'll basically say, yep, I love you, goodbye. Hang up. Well, listen, if nobody else has any questions, I want to wish you all a great weekend coming up, and I hope you all stay healthy and safe. Take your vitamins, get plenty of sleep. And Carrie, I want to thank you. And Carrie, hopefully we could do this again.
We would love that. Really appreciate the information. Always really helpful. Thanks for everything you are doing with the sheriff and the whole department for the county. And it's wonderful. It's nice to see it coming together. You're right. We're talking about scams, but it's a good point to make that there's a lot of other good stuff that's happening. And I really appreciate all the good things you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And listen, you've got a great chief out there, John Carmichael. So for all the listeners, if they have a question about a potential scam that's calling them or sending them something in the mail, check in with the Walpole Police. They're fantastic.
Jerry, can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely.
I'm watching a lot of it, like on the news, and they're talking about here just at noontime as to how many people have guns. And it really irritates me when people are going around and for no reason are killing other people. That people are irresponsible with guns.
Yes.
And I don't care how much training they've had or they haven't had, but they're killing innocent people.
Well, Jerry, I saw a similar story on the news about the gun violence. It just happened the last 48 hours in Boston. A lot of the people using guns in those shootings, they were recently released from jail due to the Supreme Judicial Court's ruling, and Prisoner Legal Services and the ACLU wanted these guys out of jail. And so what's happening is they're back on the streets. They are not law-abiding citizens. They do not have a license for the guns. The guns are obtained illegally. And they had 5 shot in Boston, 1 fatally, 1 died. So that gun violence, particularly in hot spots like Brockton and Boston, it's something we have got to work on, all of us together. And as far as that horrible incident with where the police officer was kneeling on the neck of an African-American man and holding him down, I think it was close to 5 or 6 minutes, where clearly the person was handcuffed. He was not putting up any fight or resisting. That case should be prosecuted. That was at least involuntary manslaughter, if not murder. I mean, that's outrageous. And you know, to any person of color, my heart breaks for them, because we're better than that. We're much better than that as a country. And that action tarnishes the reputation of all the great men and women who are behind the badge, who wear the uniform. The majority of our police officers are phenomenal people and would never act like that. That kind of isolated incident it fuels racial tensions. It really harms our country. So my hope and my prayer is that we'll get beyond this, and the rioting that's happening in LA and Minneapolis will subside, and we can have a good dialogue about it. But I do think at least 1 officer out of the 4, I know all 4 were fired, and that's a good start, but I think that other officer that knelt on Mr. Floyd's neck should be prosecuted, should face some charges for sure. The experience I've had, Jerry, is that most men and women who become police officers really take seriously the oath that they swear, and they're good people and they serve well. But there are those isolated cases, and those are the ones that make the news for sure, and those are the ones that tarnish the badge. And I can tell you one thing, a sheriff told me when I went out to Colorado to the National Corrections Institute for Sheriff's Training. He said to me, the best thing you could say to yourself every day when you get up before you go into work is look at your badge and say, don't do anything to tarnish the badge. And if everyone did that, I think you'd see them behave better out there on the streets.
I agree.
All right, guys. Well, Carrie,
thank you so much.
Carrie, thank you again. I really appreciate the invitation. All right, take care, everybody. Bye. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I thought he was very interesting to just listen to and be able to ask a couple of questions. You know, that he was very interesting.
It's nice. He's very transparent and he does great service for us.
I've never met him there. I think somebody pointed out one of the pool guys, and it might have been Rick, who pointed him out, because I think he was at the senior center at one time, and he said, "Jerry, that's a sheriff of Norfolk County." That's really, yeah.
Yeah, I think he comes at least once a year, and we always have Joe in once a month to represent the sheriff. He's a great guy. We're lucky to have him.
Larry, how have you been?
Larry!
I'm very
so
good,
to
thank
see
you.
you.
Hi, all. How are you?
Hi.
I just figured out how to use this Zoom thing today.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're the only guys that I'm able to connect with, which is wonderful. So I'll eventually get better at it, I'm sure.
Well, you
You
figured
did
it
pretty
out
well today.
That's great. You guys look wonderful. It's good to see you guys.
The same.
Where was Jerry's background? Was he on the beach somewhere?
It's a
Anybody
virtual
know?
background, Larry.
What's that?
It's a virtual background.
Oh, that's another thing, huh? Okay. That's a computer thing.
Yeah.
I think we all wish we could be at the beach instead right now.
Yes.
I couldn't get my picture.
So,
Oh no, Joe, we still can't hear.
Yeah.
can't understand Joe.
No, we can't. It's frustrating.
Ah.
What do I hit?
Video?
Start video?
Yeah, go down toolbar. Does it pop up?
There you are.
There's Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
My daughter just got home and she told me what to hit. I don't learn quickly, I don't think.
That's okay.
It's nice to see everybody.
You too.
Nice to see you too, Gloria. You look well.
It was very good. He was
Is
very interesting. Yeah.
Is that Joe's wife, Joe Denise?
Yes.
Oh, how is Joe?
Joe passed away about 18 months ago.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking of somebody else then, on the pool league.
Oh, no. I'm Joe Denine's wife.
Yeah, but I have another Joe Denine. Don't we have another Joe Denine?
Oh, you know what? You have another Denine. I don't know if his first name's Joe and it's not spelled the same.
I
No,
believe it is.
Okay, he didn't die. Let's not spread rumors.
Yeah,
Oh, my
no,
God.
my husband passed away, but I
Okay.
know there's another Denine on the pool
Okay.
thing. I don't know what his first name is.
Okay, all right. So is this the only time we get to meet each other online, or is there other,
Every Thursday.
like this?
Yep.
Okay,
There's some other programming available too, Larry. There's yoga and some other classes.
I
but
noticed that on the schedule.
But times
Okay.
like this to socialize and kind of get that Q&A session. We've got some good ones coming up. We've got the Shine counselors coming on, and then they're, they've changed the town election date. And so Liz Gaffey, the town clerk, is going to be on to discuss the town election. I'm sure that there's a lot of questions that people have. So that'll be really helpful. But if you have other ideas or suggestions for town departments or people that you'd like us to reach out to see if they'll come on, please let us know, because we will invite anyone to come and share
All right.
information.
Right. The only question I would have is, are there numbers that I have to put into the site, Zoom site, to
Somebody
get on
can't
that,
get in. Can't get.
to get on that discussion group? Are there any numbers involved? Like there was a number I copied to get to you guys from the monthly schedule that you put out.
Larry, do you
Larry-
have email?
Yes.
Do you have email, Larry?
What's that?
Do you have an email address?
I do.
Because if you send it to me on the chat button, I can send you the emails and then you just have to click on them.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. All right. How do I get to the email?
Here, I'll send you a chat here.
I don't see my where I can send you an email.
I'll send it. Here we go.
So down at the bottom on the menu, there's a
Yeah.
chat feature, and you could put it in there.
Oh. There it is.
It makes it real easy, Larry, because Debbie does a great job putting together an email that lists all of the programs. And so you hang on to that email, and then you can just click through that email right into the meeting.
Oh, great. Thank you. All right, let me put that in now. Oh, thank you.
Crazy.
Okay. You get that, Debbie?
I did.
Okay, thank you. All right. This is wonderful. This is
It's
absolutely
nice to
wonderful.
see you,
So good
Larry.
to
I hope
see
we
you,
see you
Larry.
again.
Yeah, I hope so too. Any conversation about how soon this might be opening up?
I don't know yet.
No, but personally, I think it's too soon for things to get back to normal. You know,
Mm.
we're not in that position yet to be that carefree, I don't think. So let's,
We've got to follow the governor and go through these phases that are being driven by all the public health data. So assuming we keep that nice downward trend that it looks like we're getting, and
Right.
people keep making good choices, we can start proceeding through those phases. But I don't have any hard data on when we'll reopen or what it'll look like quite yet.
Right.
Keep hanging in there.
Yes, you too. Okay, guys. Good to see you and speak with you.
Likewise. Thanks, Larry.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
afternoon.
Stay safe.
You too.